Local man that makes deck and fights too late makes yet another deck and fight that is too late. Welcome. Today we're taking a look at Genesis, which took me quite a bit to get my head around, and even now, I'm going to warn you in advance, we're probably going to lose every game we're going to play today, because somehow every time I play this deck, I always go first, and there was one morning where I played like 5 games, 4 of them I didn't draw Fenrir, the actual grade 3 you want to ride, so it's somehow not really a fan of me, and things don't really go well, but when they do, I try my best, and I'll try my best to put on a good show for you guys too, but at the very least I can explain the deck, I think, in a good enough manner, so I'm looking forward to that at least. For upcoming deck and fights, I still want to do something for Gears with Gear Groovy. I haven't built Gears in the latest set because I only have 2 split Pegasus, so I kind of need more of those to really make the deck playable. And there isn't really much else in that set, like Braves I feel like are literally worse than Altmile itself, like the regular Altmile without the Brave engine, and Neonectar doesn't interest me at all. So we're probably going to end up covering like clan events plus the Fighters Collection 2 that came out, because that set is actually very good. Or at least it's very good in terms of the amount of decks that there are, and there's a lot of decks that I personally want to play in it as well. So I'd rather focus on showing off those decks instead, I think. So I think that's the kind of pattern we'll do. For Gears, I might just still show off the kind of like Gear Groovy list that I have, even though it is like now, even for you guys in Global, it is now a set old. So I'm not really sure if I want to still do it. So let me know in the comments if you want to see that or not. I feel like I've asked that a few times by now. But this Fenrir one is definitely one of the most requested ones, as there is a very good clan event, which I know has ended already in Global, but I hope you did build it, because it is very, very good, and I've kept saying that it is very good. Also, there's Gurgwit from set 9 that I still haven't done a deck and fight on, so I definitely want to feature that too. But today let's take a look at Fenrir and the new deck and the new combo that it has. There's a lot of other content creators that have done really good videos on this deck too, which I recommend you check out, because I think if you just search the deck, you'll find a lot of really good content. And this is kind of how the list looks. There are different ways you can build it, but it is a little bit uncanny at first, and yes, I only have 2 of the Fenrir GR because I didn't want to spend money on the clan event, and so I only got 2, but 3 is recommended, of course. But you can get by with 2, I think. It's just, I didn't want to put in money to a deck that I don't play that much. I think that kind of makes sense. I would rather put it into actually, you know, money into the actual TCG instead. Anyway, let's get into the deck. Of course, we have Fenrir as a heal trigger because we need all the space in the deck for the stand triggers that we need to run. So the important thing is the stride skill. When you stride over it, you soul charge 3, and then once per turn, when you soul blast a card, you can almost want to call it out. So that card lets you basically like call out your Dreaming Dragons, which you can then use to recycle your drop zone to not deck out. And of course, it can also call out things like the Gyol, which we'll talk about in a second. And then one of the most important cards, so while we're in this grade 3 space, is the Taro. So Taro is a stand trigger that is actually banned in the TCG. It's that good. I think it can come back to like 1, personally speaking, but Taro has the Revelation ability, which is a new keyword, which says when you place this card, you can look at the top card of your deck and either put it to Soul or leave it on top of the deck, and if you put it into the Soul, you have to choose a rearguard and rest it. So there is a caveat soul charging basically, but we do have ways to kind of get an advantage out of that, and of course it's still very good. So a lot of cards have this Revelation ability, and her other skill is in the Soul on GB1, when she's put into the drop zone, you can put her back to the bottom of the deck and then choose a rearguard and stand it. So we basically want to soul charge 2 of her and then restand our front row to get a bunch of attacks out in 1 turn, which is obviously very good. And there's different ways you can chain that, and the main way to enable it is with the Gyol. And Gyol basically says GB1 first has Revelation, as we earlier mentioned, and it has GB1 when placed on rear. If your Vanguard is a grade 3 or greater Fenrir, can almost 1 and gain 5k in the following ability. Once per turn, when it attacks, you soul blast 3 to draw a card. I sometimes forget that this card actually draws a card. Just the soul blast 3 is so important because this happens in the battle phase, and it can attack anything. It doesn't have to attack the Vanguard. So you swing with a rear, you swing with this, you soul blast 3, 2 of them being Taros, you restand him and the thing that you also stood. Or what you can also do is swing with the rear, then swing with him, and then soul blast a Taro plus something, plus another copy of Gyol, and then use Fenrir's stride ability to call the Gyol out over the resting rear guard, and then you get to use the skill again if you have the Canal Blast, because that means you can once again attack soul blast 3, and then Soul Blast 2 Taros and restand both rears. So you can definitely chain this into a bunch of multi-attacks with Taro, and on top of that, because you're running so many stand triggers, they naturally restand too. Just keep in mind this is a once per turn ability, but it is kind of the most important one. The second most important grade 2 is the Kotonoha. She has Revelation, and then GB1 during your turn. When a card is put into your soul, she gets plus 1k for the turn, and if it was put by a Revelation ability, she gets plus 2k instead. So she becomes a huge beater, which is very, very powerful and really, really important. And then of course we run the Grappa engine. When you soul blast it, you can soul charge until you soul charge 2 non-triggers, which is pretty good. And we also run 1 copy of the Valencia for that reason. Speaking of 1 copies, we have the Medusa. She's a non-GB1 soul blaster. When an attack hits a Vanguard, which is quite tough, soul blast 3, and then your opponent randomly binds a card from their hand, and at the end of the turn that card goes back from the binds into their hand. So this can randomly snipe a PG and things like that, but in general, if you don't have Gyol, this is your other way of enabling your Taros, which is quite good. We also run another 2 stand triggers in the Suvava. Also has Revelation and GB1 once per turn. You choose 3 non-triggers from your soul and put them to the drop zone, and then this unit gets plus 5k, and if it's on the Vanguard circle, you draw 1. So this is just good for emptying out your soul, because obviously when you empty out your soul and like the PGs and stuff, you soul charge for the sake of the Dreaming Dragon putting everything back to the deck too. And then finally we have Stride Fodders, of course, / Fenrir Searchers, countercharging PGs, and most importantly, Gelgia. Gelgia has Revelation and the In-Soul ability. You can put it at the bottom of the deck and then do the following 2 abilities. First, you choose one of your rear guards and stand it, and if you did, it gets plus 5k. So this is like if it for Revelation you rest something, you can restand it with Gelgia and then give it extra power. And then the most important skill is if you have a grade 3 or greater Fenrir Vanguard, soul charge 2 and then give a unit plus 5k. So this soul charge 2 means you can hit your Taros, which is really important, and you also prevent yourself from decking out. So you can basically soul charge a bunch until you hit like 2 cards in deck, and then just put all your Gelgias to the bottom of the deck. So you can basically soul charge until you have like a very low deck count, and then put all your Gelgias to the bottom, and then your deck will become just like 3 or 4 Gelgias, so you know that your drive checks will be safe and you're not going to deck yourself out. So that is one of the key plays with this deck. The starters also changed. It is now Van. This card says when it's rested by a card's effect, it gives plus 5k to a unit. So when you rest it for Revelation, for example, you can give 5k to something else, so it still applies its boost in a way. And then the other skill is GB1. When you drive check a non-trigger, you can put it to soul to draw 1, which is nice. It gets you in a bigger hand, which is good. But this deck is definitely like a one-shot deck. You don't really try to play the long game with it, as you can see by us not having heal guards. The most important stride in the deck is, of course, the Hellsky Fang Beast Fenrir, I think is what it's called. When you stride it, you can flip its unit face up to get the following ability, which is that for that turn, when you do a Revelation ability, it changes to the following. It changes to Rearguard Circle when placed. Look at the top 2 cards of your deck, put 1 to Soul, and put the rest on the top or bottom of the deck in any order. So you don't have to rest any Rearguards, you just change that to always looking at top 2. 1 goes to Soul, and then 1 goes on top or bottom, and then you can keep the card on top for the second skill, which says Soul Blast 3, Counter Blast 1, to do the following. And if you have another copy of this Fenrir in the G-Zone, you do both instead, which is to draw 1. So again, if you see a PG up top, for example, with the Revelation ability, you can just draw into it. And then the other skill is for that turn, give a Rearguard plus 5k, and then you may soul charge 1. And then he has GB3. If your heart is a Fenrir, get an extra crit. Like, so if you go into this on second stride, if you run 3 copies, or if you don't Persona Flip, at the start when I was playing this deck, I didn't Persona Flip, so I'd always just choose between the draw and the power. But I think, generally speaking, you want to Persona Flip on the first stride, because getting the draw and the power is actually very good. And then you can usually finish the game with the Vanguard, which will just like stack you triggers, right? It's just the same old card. You don't really go into these strides at all, honestly. Like, they're just being run for the sake of being run. And Harmonics, of course, if in case there's like some Mad Lads playing 0 damage Luard. This deck can be improved with Fire Section 2, because there is a PG that can G assist, which means you can find your Fenrir more safely, which is pretty good. So the deck is interesting. It is very intensive to play, so you definitely have to turn that timer off. Do not mess around with the timer. It is pretty rough. So I will try to win at least a game. No promises though. I am very bad at this deck. Alright, let's go. We are playing against Narukami. So I was sipping my morning coffee. It's actually pretty early here. We're going second. Oh my god. That means I'm not going to draw Fenrir. This game. Okay, no Fenrir so far, but we have the Searcher. I don't really want to ride the PG here, I'm not going to lie. We're going to have to call this no matter what, so we might have to ride the PG. Might have to keep this just to have a Stride Fodder too. This is going to be a very cheeky... Oh, we don't have to ride the PG. Good. Alright. This is a really good start. We have Gelgia. This is your best grade 1 ride target of all. because if you ride Gelgia, you basically are chilling, because you have the Soul Blast ability available to you, and if you can ride the Grappa, that also gets you the ability to Soul Blast it out and Soul Charge more later on. So overall, it's very, very good. Nothing but good stuff so far. So as long as we can not draw into our Taros, I think we should be fine. So let's get it and try our best and see how things go. Let me close a couple programs in the background. I can feel my computer starting to lag a bit, and it's definitely caused by the things open in the background that are slowing it down a bit. Okay, my opponent, what did they find again? Vanquisher, right? There has been Vermilion. Yeah, it is Vanquisher. Vermilion got supported in Fighter Section, so that's kind of why things have changed a little bit. Okay, we're gonna ride the Grappa. You, generally speaking, don't want to commit your pieces early, because it does mean that, you know, you're kind of screwing yourself out of combo parts. So unless you open like multiple Grappas or something, you don't really want to be committing early pieces. So we're gonna swing the Grappa. Another of the not Gelgias, Gyols. It's called Gyol, right? Yeah, another one of the Gyols went to the bottom. That's not good. They're gonna push us to 3, which is fine. You theoretically can actually win the game off of first stride, like 2 to 6 them, depending on what you open, but not seeing any Gyols so far doesn't have me holding out too much hope right now. Not gonna lie. Okay, we draw into another Fenrir, so we have a Revelation available to us. As you can see, all animations are off because you're literally throwing time away. If you keep them on, trust me. So now we're gonna basically speedrun into finding Taros. Like, this is where what the game plan becomes. First fight is usually like find Taro speedrun. So, oh, we found all 3 at once. Holy sh! I've never done that before. I've never done that before. Oh my god! Now we just need to wait to Soul Blast it out. So let's use you, Soul Charge this, and keep this on top, and then use Fenrir's effect here to draw that PG. Oh my god! I've never seen that happen before. What the hell? That's crazy. That's actually crazy. I've never Soul Charged that many Taros. Okay, let's Soul Charge again. That might actually be too much. Oh my god, we're getting everything. We can actually get Fenrir. We can get the Gyola with Fenrir too. Oh my god. We don't need to use it here. Let's thin the deck a bit more. Soul Charge another 2 here. Okay, we're getting good stuff. This will give more power. Give it to Kotonoha. I'm thinking of using this first to thin out a bit more, just to really compress the deck so we can hit actual stand triggers here. We could draw into this. We can Soul Charge this and draw into the stand so we can put the drop back to the deck. I think that's worth it. Let's Soul Charge you, keep you on top, and then use Fenrir's skill again. I think I barely have enough CB for everything this way. We'll Soul Blast you guys out. God, the Taros all being in there is kind of crazy. Like, that might be too much. That might actually be a little bit too much. Put the power here for this one. We can Soul Charge here as well. Another Gelgia, that's good. We don't need to call here. We will call this. Sorry, time is running out. I need to be a bit careful. We're going to use you to Soul Blast these 3 to gain the power. And then use his skill to call this out. I think with this we barely have... Oh no, we don't have CB then. Crap. Misplayed a step. How can I shouldn't have CB'd earlier. Damn it. Alright, in that case we misplayed. We misplayed and didn't actually enable our Taros to go off. That's so annoying. That's super, super annoying. In that case, we just push to 4 here. Like I said, I'm really bad at playing this deck. I, like, misplay... I get ahead of myself with, like, 1 CB, and go like, oh my god, I can do this and that and that. And then I just, like, end up throwing. So yeah, we had no stands, no bitches, no nothing. We push to 4, and then Dreaming Dragon will put our drop zone back to the deck. I think we get 10. Is it everything? Yeah, we get 10 in, so we gotta draw here into another Dreaming Dragon for next turn. Yeah, like, that's the thing, is, like, I overcommit 1 CB and it's over. Like, that's kind of the sad part, is, like, it's really easy to overcommit a CB with this. So you just have to be careful, like, that's all I can really tell you. Because, like, basically the reason why I couldn't do anything there is because I needed to use Fenrir CB1 to revive the Gyol, and then I needed CB1 to use Gyol's effect. And so because of that, I couldn't use it. So I should have not used Fenrir's effect. The timing where I used Fenrir's effect, I think to draw this PG, I should have instead used Svava to Soul Blast the Gyol out, and then CB1 to revive the Gyol, and then CB1 to use Gyol's effect to trigger a bunch of Taros. Like, that's what I should have done. And I hope you can learn from me being terrible. I hope there is some merit in me making misplays. Please learn. Alright. Can my opponent check blanks? They can check blanks. That's good too. That's good too. So next time we can just stride up, Soul Charge 3 off of Fenrir's effect. I don't really care about losing my drop zone here. We're gonna Soul Blast enough in one turn anyway. We get a Kotonoha, so that's good. Let's just go into Vanguard and stack the deck, I guess. As I mentioned before. Ditch the heal. And then we just need like any way to Soul Blast cards to trigger Gyol. Or just that works too. That works too, for sure. So you just have to keep in mind that, of course, we're gonna call Kotonoha. We could just do double Kotonoha. Just keep in mind that here, I don't have rest targets anymore, so all of these effects will be doing stuff like this. So if I put this to Soul now, I need to rest the stand trigger. So yeah, those get powered up. I think theoretically we can just like use the double Taro on this turn and keep the Gyol for next turn. I don't think I'm dead yet, and this will just get very huge, and everything will get Taroed. So that's kind of big. We can actually triple Taro as well. The heal whiffs, but I think we actually hit enough power. Scarily enough. Scarily enough. We can triple Taro, Dreaming Dragon, this. No, maybe not this. Let's do this. So yeah, we triple Taro, they're gonna all go back to the deck as well. I think we can proc them first and restand everything and put them back. So we do this, and then we Soul Charge from the Grappa, and then that shuffles the stands back in. And only then does it actually make us do stuff with Vanguard, which is pretty good. Okay, the deck is fairly thin right now, and the power is going up, which is most important. We can also call out... I guess we can call out this. We do have the CB right now. Just hit the power requirement. And now we're going to use Vanguard to basically just stack these. Beep, 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 beep. And then we check a bunch of stands, which will go back to deck. That's the most important thing. So yeah, that's good. That's good, that's good, that's good. Dreaming Dragon gonna do its thing. Stands left and right. Very cool. This is gonna ask for Heal Guard. I'm just asking for Heal Guards for every attack here. There's no reason to overdo it. Okay, that's a PG. And then this one, it hits. Okay, that's pretty cool. Alright, we actually got a win. Oof, Jesus, I'm sorry for the turn 3 misplay. I honestly feel bad for like when I just overdo it. Or like not see the steps right, but as you can see, like Vanguard is still a good finisher, because you thin your deck so much that you just see all those stands, and with Taro putting itself back, and then if you can chain that into like a Grappa that can shuffle the deck and you can like stack those stands like that, it usually works out. It usually works out. So that was game 1. Let's go for another one. All right, we've got another game lined up, and they're very exciting. I've also seen the global side of Zero has been really good lately. Like, you guys are getting like so many quality of life updates. I feel like you guys have more rewards for like players in general. The freebies you get seem to be better too. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit jealous of how good Global's got it compared to JP, because dude, I yesterday I had dinner with some of you guys that play the TCG. You might know the Tokyo Bombas channel. So yesterday I had dinner with the person that runs that channel, and they mainly make like TCG slash Digimon TCG content, but they've done a bit of Zero content. And like at one point we had dinner for like hours and hours and hours, but we were talking about Zero at one point and how it was just like the JP side just feels like it's a lost cause. Like, they're not willing to improve it, and they're just doing it like until it's over, it feels like. And it's really sad, because it feels like the game could have so much more potential, and the global side seems to realize that, and they're trying to salvage it. But it's also just like, you know, you gotta put in a lot of advertising budget to show your efforts being made. Because right now, you know, Zero's rep is not exactly strong. And, you know, we content creators feel that too. Like, for me, it's really weird when, you know, all these years, like 2 years of Zero, it's like, when I would upload a Zero video or upload a TCG video, Zero would always do better. Like, for the most part. For the grand majority of time, Zero would do better. Whereas these days it's the other way around. It's always the TCG that does better, and like, I'm obviously very happy about that, but it's also sad to see how Zero has slipped just to this extent just because of bad monetization practices. And like, you know, despite this era of Vanguard being one of my favorites. So it's definitely quite unfortunate in that sense. Also, I don't have a freaking... I somehow do not have, See, I'd like this in my hand, but I don't have a way to draw it, so we're gonna have to soul charge it. But what I was trying to say is, one thing is that, like, I'm very happy with the TCG content doing so well lately because it feels like a lot of people are motivated to play TCG, and like, you know, that's given people a lot of like newfound hope and like newfound excitement. And like compared to the end of V format in the TCG where people were kind of like not really excited about the game, they were just playing it for the sake of playing it, right now it feels like everyone's happy to be playing the game because like the formats are good, the balance is good, the releases are very exciting, like the card quality of the new sets is also better. So I think, you know, that definitely motivates people a lot. But the opposite, like the case for Zero feels like it's the exact opposite, which is a bit unfortunate. So, I don't know. There's definitely things to be desired, I guess. But they've been doing better and better in Global. I feel like Global is like the path to the future for this game. And like, maybe just like, you know, certain games where like the English side carries them, you know, kind of like fighting games in a way. It really feels like they're carried by the West these days. You know, maybe Zero will be the same. Also, hello, I'm gonna be on 5 damage, my opponent's at 1. Why? Question mark? That's kind of weird. Can I hit a heal, please? I actually healed on turn 1, too. I would actually be dead here, or like, losing a PG. That's crazy. Okay, stand trigger defensive. What a crazy guy. Alright, I need a stride fodder, please. If you don't mind. That's not a stride fodder. I gotta discard a Clark then. We gotta probably do this. I don't want to lose my PGs, not when I'm at 5. So we gotta overpay the cost for Stride, and then find Taros. The quest to find Taro begins anew, as usual. Alright, Grappa, you're late, Grappa. If I would have drawn you earlier, it would have been a great find, to be honest, but not now. I don't think we can win from 1, but we can push to 5 and then, you know, do the usual thing of, push, push, push. Oh, Taro, you can go in. You can go to the bottom, I actually don't need you up top. And then Grappa... No, Grappa. Gol! I love the names. I don't really want either one, to be honest. Not gonna lie. Not gonna lie, I don't want either one, but... You also, I don't want you on top either. I don't need you up top either, bro. You get out of here right now. Alright. I guess we try to fish, or we can try to use... you. I think we fish. Oh, can you hear the cicadas? I don't know if my... Mike can pick up on that, but the cicadas are super loud, man. They are yelling and screaming all the damn time. And it's actually wild. I guess we want to stand you. We can soul charge this. Okay, that's pretty good. And then use this to soul charge another 2. That's a Taro, that's good. Oh, that's... Oh, the Taros don't stay, right? We're just thinning out to find the Taros in a way. Here, let's use the effect again. To Soul Blast you out, I need to put the stand trigger on the board, basically, that's all. So we draw into a heal, of course. That's pretty sad, actually. Soul Charge a Taro, nice. I think that's the last Taro that we needed. And then we call you out. And I think we're basically good to go. We can sin a bit more. We have 9 cards. What do we have in deck? We have a stand. And a couple stands, basically. So I think we could use, like, 1 Gyol here. Just to see what we can get off of it. Another stand, another power here. We have enough, we have Taros in the soul now. So we're gonna go swing here. This is gonna be like a typical turn, I would say. Like a typical kind of like, yes, I will swing a bunch of times and then do my stuff. Like so. Yeah, we're gonna do this. Double Taro, draw into Kotonoha, then use both Taros to put them to the bottom, and then stand both rears, and then they're gonna bash again, and then we're gonna, you know, just do this again. And then hopefully rip some stands off the top, and feel good about ourselves. That's usually how we want things to go. So yeah, this power could have been even greater. I'm kind of depending on my opponent not hitting defensives. But we can push them to 5, more or less. Defensive heal is okay. It's not the end of the world. Jesus Christ, the thunder feels like an earthquake. God damn, dude. Alright, let's put power on Kotonoha now, just in case they hit a defensive. We can draw one. See what we get. Please no stand. Oh! Good. We get a bit of power there. Hey, we have a second stand. This is like... that's 28, it doesn't hit. Whoops. Okay, so the plan doesn't change. We still push to 5 as intended. So we don't kill, but it's good enough. We have 2 PGs in hand. But we're playing as Blade Master, so we're probably dead if we don't see heals. If we draw into a PG, we can't. Our last 2 PGs are in the deck. So we draw into a Taro. Funny lol. We probably lose this because we got rushed really hard, and my opponent can just go into Titan here and just, like, you know, get rid of my front row. If they go into Nouvelle instead, that would actually be better for me. Because that means they can probably only... If they only retire one front row and they don't have any other way to retire front row here, we actually survive. But if they have 2 ways to retire front row on top of the Blade Master, then we're doomed. So let's find out. So that was actually pretty okay grade 3 turn. Like, I could have also theoretically used the Fenrir skill. Okay, GG's, GG's. I don't think I have heals left, so that's gonna be game. Do I have heals left? I can't see. No, I don't. Okay, then that's game for sure. That is game faux show. Even if I did, I'm playing against Nouvelle here, so I'm just gonna PG, and then it's gonna be game. So yes, a well-played game though. I think, like, we could have done a bit more, but I think they definitely had at least 1 PG in hand, so even if I, like, went extra ham and, like, overcalled the Gyol at some point, it wouldn't have been really worth that much. So, would not have been that great. So yes, my opponent should know all my PGs are out. There's 2 in the damage zone, bro. Come on, man. So yes, there you have it. That's Fenrir. I'm sorry, I am not exactly good at playing the deck, but I hope this showed off what the deck wants to do, and kind of like why certain cards are played the way they are, and why you need so much space for the stand triggers, because they're very, very important. Like, if you don't play 4 Taro, you're actively throwing, in my opinion. Like, you should probably not play this version of the deck. Like, there are other builds of Fenrir. This is more like the one-shot kill kind of build that you can try to, like, follow up with. We didn't actually manage to get a one-shot kill in any of the games, but, you know, it's still a strong deck where you can follow up with Vanguard afterwards too, and it's still gonna be strong. So for that reason, I think it is still a recommended build and a fun little time. So here you have the list once again. If you have a third Fenrir GR, I really recommend playing it over, like, the one of the triple or double rare strides. I'll try to pick it up maybe next time Genesis is a clan event, which probably will be sometime in the next couple of months or so. There's definitely quite a few waves of clan events that we can go through. We're still missing some clans too, so that definitely is a waiting room moment. But yeah, that's basically going to be it for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, please do give it a like, and if you haven't already, please do subscribe. But otherwise, that's going to be it for me today, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.